Hello everybody, it's me, Riffraff Hornhelm, and I'm back again with another presentation from the Dwarven Vault, and today we have a monster review. And today we're going to talk about spiders. And this is from the original monster manual for use with basic Dungeons & Dragons and advanced Dungeons & Dragons especially, which is known as 1E today. Now, this is going to take a little while. There's a bunch of spiders, and they're all kind of the same, kind of different, but they're spiders. And we're going to go through it just like it is in the book. And there's a lot of consistency with the spiders. A lot of the differences have to do with size and specific effects of their poison. There's some other nifty differences. Some of these I really like. I've used almost every version of spider that there is out there, plus plenty that I've done myself. And they're a great creature. It's a creepy crawly. Nobody likes spiders. They get all their skin. Yeah, it's good fun. So let's start with the first one. And that's the giant spider. Now, the giant spider is a large creature, so you're talking really big, and it's 4+4 hit dice, an armor class of 4. The attack that it does, the primary attack that it does is to, try and trap you in its web. Its web is extremely powerful. We're talking more like, from the giant tarantula type thing. In order to get out of its web, you have to have an 18 or better strength. If you, for each bit of strength you have less than this, it takes an additional round, I think it is, to try and get out. 18, you can break it right away. So it's going to wrap you up in its web. Big surprise, that's what spiders do. And then, of course, it's going to bite you. This is more like the Shelob part. If it bites you and you fail your save, you die. This isn't a paralyze or anything like that. You die. Now, fortunately, giant spiders like this are very rare. They only show up in, singular numbers, generally speaking. So, more like a Shelob than like a... like all the spiders that were in the the Hobbit movie, one of the Hobbit movies. It's in the book, much better than those movies. And in the case of the spider, the giant spider, once it has killed you, it'll eat you later. If you're caught in the web, it can take its time. So big nasty creatures, watch out for them. So let's move down the list, and we go from the giant spider to the huge spider. Wow, really inventive there. So it's another extremely large spider, not as big as the giant spider. Big surprise. And we call it the huge spider because the next one after this we talk about is the large spider. So what's the huge spider? Now, the huge spider is actually different. Okay, it's not a web builder. It's more like a wolf spider. It goes jumping after you. It can jump up to 30 feet. And it's 2+2 hit dice. It has a slightly higher armor class, a worse armor class. In this case, I think it's a 6. And with only 2+2 hit dice, it's not that big a deal. Now, however, it is very good at surprising you. Okay, it can pop out on a 6-sided die roll of 1 to 4. It's going to surprise you. It'll either pop out of the ground like a trapdoor spider, or maybe drop on you from above, or leap from far away, but it has a very, very high chance of surprising you. Now, of course, the huge spider also has the poisonous bite, but in this particular case, it's slightly weaker than that of the giant spider, and you make your saving throw at +1. That's pretty much it. Now, we go to the large spider, which, of course, is... if you look at this in the size chart, the giant is a L, it's an M for the huge, and it's an S for the large spider. But we're still talking about, hand-sized spiders or larger, and they also have a poisonous bite. It's a weaker, still, poisonous bite, weak enough where you have to make your saving throw at +2 on the die roll. But otherwise, it's also a web maker. It is more like the giant spider writ small. Not that difficult. Most commonly in a dungeon, if you're not trying to overwhelm your characters and have a decent encounter without it being too large, it's the large spider is one of the ones that gets used the most. Now, one thing I should comment on here is that in every case, the wanderings, the number of creatures that appear is larger. The wanderings for the giant spider are like 2 to 8, and it's like 3 times that for the large spider. But of course, wait, there's more. And this is the wackiest one on the list. This is the phase spider. It is, once again, a very large spider. It is more like a giant spider in size. And it doesn't really use webs very much, at least from what it says in the book. What it really focuses on is its ability to phase in and out. So when the phase spider attacks, it has phased out and it phases back in just as it bites you. And your save is at -2. You're still saving versus poison. So they're pretty nasty. They're very rare. And once again, they can be in a reasonable sized group. But if they're outnumbered or feel that they're overmatched, they flee. Now, the last of the spiders on the list here is kind of a favorite of mine, and that's the water spider. And it is a man-sized spider, and it lives underwater, but it's an air breather. So it traps air underwater and in its fur and so forth, and it brings it down to its lair. And its lair will be a mound that's filled with air. That's one that even regular creatures can use. That's one of the reasons why this is kind of fun to use. You can use either an abandoned one or kill the one that's in there, and it provides a refuge for your party. They can be kind of fun to use on that side. Normally, they're an ambush predator that ambushes from the water, drags its prey down there after delivering its poisonous bite, which you have to make your save against. And once it has it down in the layer that it has there, this air-filled layer, that's where it'll suck all the good stuff out of you. Spiders are like that. But it gives an extra little added flair. It's primarily inland lakes that they build these layers in. And that's kind of convenient for overland travel if you have a clever ranger or something who knows something about these creatures and can guide the group and give you the opportunity to avoid or evade enemies by using the spider's lair. Pretty cool stuff. So, of course, do dwarves run into spiders? I mean, these are all these different spiders that we run into. Oh, yeah. Spiders are underground, plain and simple. They're sometimes difficult to deal with if they're in a large enough group. One thing that all spiders don't like, fire. Fire is definitely your friend. Lit torches, fireballs, lamp oil that you throw on them and light on fire. This kind of stuff is fantastic for taking care of spiders. And in our experience with spiders, if we think we're going to go into an area that has spiders, we've got somebody who's got a lot of fire. That's the best way to deal with them. They're not intelligent. They're not alignment. I mean, they're neutral in alignment. They don't really care. We don't either. The only good spider is a dead spider. Squish them. Step on them. Almost as fun as playing Kick the Kobold, I'll tell you that much. So, really, the spider to dwarves, it's just a occupational hazard. Of course, in the gaming world, spiders, everybody knows spiders. That's probably one of the most used creatures in all of D&D in one form or another. And talking to the DMs out there in the greater Hornhelm community, they came back and said, "Oh yeah, these are a ball," and they vary anywhere from like a 1 to a 4. That's fair, I think. I think that's a pretty good assessment. Now, of course, we had to ask the players the same thing and say, "Hey, what about spiders?" And the response was, "Well, I hate them, but they're fun to kill." And they didn't really have a problem with them. They said that usually in a big enough group, handling spiders, as long as it wasn't too many, was not that big a deal. And everybody also remembered that, hey, yeah, fire works really, really well. Their webs catch on fire real easy, and they catch on fire real easy. They don't like it. So they came back with a very similar ranking, a little bit higher. They went from 1 to 5. They said the very largest phase spiders and so forth were a little bit nastier and ranked it a little bit higher. I think that makes sense. I mean, the one thing that was universal here is I did not speak to one player who had not had an encounter with a spider. Now, in my excitement to get through all these various spiders, there's a couple things I left out. I did not tell you what the various hit dice and armor class are for the other spiders. It all goes downhill. So the large spider is 1+1 hit dice, and when you get to the phase spider, it's like 5+5. That's the most powerful of the creatures, though it has a higher armor class. And then the water spider, I think, is like 3+3 again. None of these have really big attacks. None of these have a ton of hit points. All of them are very susceptible to fire. And certainly there's no spider, maybe the phase spider is the one that you have to worry about the most, and it's the rarest of the group. So, in any case, a very cool creature. Highly recommend it. I don't know anybody who hasn't used these before, so if you haven't run into these, then I don't think you're playing D&D. In any case, hope you found this interesting, amusing, entertaining, all that kind of good stuff. If you did, please be so kind as to leave us a like. Consider subscribing if you haven't. Definitely share with your friends. Drop us a comment. But by all means, come back and see us again real soon. We thank you so very much for your kind support. Take care, everyone. And remember, dwarves rock!